My driver shoved me into the trunk of my own Mercedes on my daughter's wedding morning, whispering, "Trust me, there's something you need to see." That's when I knew Maureen's perfect day was about to become a nightmare. Welcome back to your ultimate destination for gripping revenge stories, family betrayals, shocking betrayals, and emotional justice. Subscribe now and join a community and tell us where you're watching from. Turn on the notification bell for our next story. Are you ready to witness the ultimate payback? Let's get started. My name is ZAHA. I'm 68 years old. It happened so fast I barely had time to process it. One moment I was standing outside the Ritz-Carlton in downtown Boston, checking my watch, 7:47 a.m., exactly 13 minutes before I was supposed to walk into the bridal suite to see my daughter before her 2 p.m. ceremony. The next moment, Thomas, my driver of 15 years, the man who'd driven Maureen to her first day of kindergarten, who I trusted with my life, had his hand on my shoulder. "Mr. Mansour," he said urgently, his voice low and tight. "I need you to get in the trunk. Right now. Don't ask questions. Just trust me." I stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Thomas was 62 years old, former Marine, steady as granite. In 15 years, I'd never seen him rattled. Never seen his hands shake or his eyes dart around nervously like they were doing now. "Thomas, what are you talking about?" "I need to see Maureen." "You'll see her. But first, you need to see something else. Something that will change everything." He glanced around the valet area, where valets were parking arriving guests' cars. "Please, Mr. Mansour. We have maybe 5 minutes before someone notices you're gone. Get in the trunk." "Have you completely lost your mind? It's my daughter's wedding day." "Exactly. Which is why you need to see this before she walks down that aisle." Thomas grabbed my arm with surprising strength for his age. His grip was desperate, urgent. "Sir, I've served you for 15 years. Have I ever steered you wrong? Have I ever betrayed your trust?" I thought about that. Thomas had warned me about a bad business deal with a seemingly reputable contractor that would have cost me $3 million. He'd caught a thief trying to break into my house in the middle of the night. He'd been there the night my wife Rebecca died of pancreatic cancer 5 years ago, had driven us to Mass General at 3 in the morning, had sat with me in that horrible waiting room, and held my hand when the doctor told me there was nothing more they could do. "No," I admitted, my voice quieter now. "You haven't. Then trust me now. Please. For Maureen's sake." Something in his voice, the desperation, the fear, the absolute certainty that this mattered, made me decide. Against every rational thought in my head, against my schedule and my plans and my common sense, I nodded. Thomas popped the trunk of my black Mercedes S-Class. "Get in. Stay quiet. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's only for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes to where? You'll see. Now please, sir. Hurry." I climbed into the trunk, my 68-year-old joints protesting every movement. The space was larger than I expected. Thomas kept it meticulously clean, empty except for an emergency kit and a blanket. Still, it was cramped, dark, and deeply undignified. The last thing I saw before the trunk closed was Thomas's face, grim and determined, more serious than I'd ever seen him. Then darkness. The car started moving. I felt every bump in the road, every turn, every acceleration and brake. My mind raced through possibilities, each more alarming than the last. What could possibly be so important that Thomas would kidnap me? And yes, technically this was kidnapping, on my daughter's wedding day. Had something happened to Maureen? Was she in danger? Had there been a threat? No. Thomas said I'd see her. Said this was for her sake. Said I needed to see something before she walked down that aisle. Then what? I thought about the wedding. Maureen was marrying Preston Blake, heir to the Blake Hotel empire that owned luxury properties across the northeastern United States. They'd met 3 years ago at a charity gala I'd hosted for children's hospitals. Preston was 34, devastatingly handsome, Harvard MBA, charming in that effortless way wealthy people often were. He'd courted Maureen like a man from another era. Flowers every week, handwritten notes, romantic weekend getaways to Vermont and the Cape. I'd liked him. After my initial wariness wore off, no father thinks any man is good enough for his daughter. I genuinely liked Preston. He seemed devoted to Maureen. He made her laugh. He'd asked for my blessing before proposing, had looked me in the eye and promised to spend his life making her happy. I'd done my due diligence anyway. Hired a private investigator, run background checks, verified his financial claims. Everything came back clean. Harvard degree verified. No criminal record. Business dealings all above board. The PI found nothing suspicious. No secret families. No hidden addictions. No concerning behavior. So I'd given my blessing. Welcomed Preston into the family. Started thinking of him as the son I'd never had. Maureen was 31, my only child from my marriage to Rebecca. She was brilliant. Harvard Law, made partner at Morrison & Associates at 29, one of the youngest partners in the firm's history. She was kind, volunteering at legal aid clinics on weekends. She was beautiful, with her mother's dark eyes and warm smile. She'd been my rock through Rebecca's illness and death. Had held my hand at the funeral. Had called me every day for a year afterward just to make sure I was eating, sleeping, taking care of myself. Seeing her happy, seeing her in love, had been the first real joy I'd felt since losing Rebecca. This wedding was supposed to be perfect. I'd spared no expense. $300,000 for a ceremony and reception at the Ritz-Carlton, custom Vera Wang dress that took 6 months to make, flowers flown in from Ecuador, a 12-piece orchestra, a cake that cost more than some people's cars. Maureen deserved perfect. After everything she'd been through, after supporting me through my grief while managing her own, she deserved one perfect day. So why was I in the trunk of my own car, being driven to God knows where, by my driver, who looked terrified? Have you ever trusted someone completely, even when it made no logical sense? Drop a comment below, because that trust was about to be tested in ways I never imagined. The Mercedes slowed, turned sharply, then stopped. I heard Thomas get out, heard his footsteps on gravel. Then the trunk opened and harsh sunlight flooded in, making me squint. "We're here," Thomas said, offering his hand to help me out. "And sir, what you're about to see. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I climbed out of the trunk, blinking in the morning sun, and looked around. We were in a parking lot behind what looked like the cheapest motel I'd ever seen. The Starlight Motor Lodge. According to a flickering neon sign that was missing the S, so it just read, Starlight Motor Lodge. The kind of place with hourly rates and questions nobody asked. Peeling paint, cracked concrete, a general aura of despair and bad decisions. "Thomas, what the hell are we doing here?" "Room 204. Second floor, far end." He pulled out his phone and handed it to me. The camera app was already open. "I need you to record what you see. For evidence. For proof. Because when you tell Maureen, she's not going to want to believe you." My stomach dropped like a stone. "Evidence of what?" "Just go. Please. Quietly. The door should be unlocked." I bribed the desk clerk earlier. His face was a mask of misery. "And Mr. Mansour? I wish with everything in me that I was wrong about this. I wish I didn't have to show you. But you need to see it before Maureen marries him." "Him? Preston." My legs felt weak as I climbed the external stairs to the second floor. The hallway smelled of cigarette smoke, cheap air freshener, and things I didn't want to identify. Room 204 was at the far end, exactly as Thomas had said. The door was slightly ajar, and I could hear sounds coming from inside. Laughter. A woman's voice, breathy and familiar. I pushed the door open slowly, still holding Thomas's phone, camera recording, and my world shattered into 1,000 pieces. Preston Blake, my daughter's fiancé, the man she was supposed to marry in 6 hours, was in bed with another woman. They were naked, tangled in cheap motel sheets, and he was kissing her neck while she ran her fingers through his hair and giggled. But the woman wasn't a stranger. The woman wasn't some random affair that I could chalk up to last-minute cold feet or a terrible mistake. The woman was Sophia Chun, Maureen's best friend since college. Her maid of honor. The woman who'd helped her pick out her wedding dress, who'd thrown her bachelorette party in Miami, who'd held her hand through her mother's death and listened to her cry and promised that Preston was the one, that Maureen deserved this happiness. I must have made a sound, a gasp, a curse, something, because they both looked up. Preston's face went white. Sophia screamed and grabbed the sheets, trying to cover herself. "Mr. Mansour," Preston stammered, scrambling out of bed, reaching for his pants. It's not what it looks like." I held up the phone, making sure they could both see the red recording light blinking. "It's exactly what it looks like. And now I have proof." Sophia was crying now, mascara streaming down her face in black rivers. "ZAHA, please, you have to understand. This isn't what we planned. We didn't mean for this to happen. Stop talking." My voice was ice. I'd never felt rage like this before. Not when business deals fell through, not when competitors tried to sabotage me, not even when Rebecca died. This was a cold, calculated fury that made my hands shake. How long? Preston had his pants on now, was reaching for his shirt. Mr. Mansour, if we could just talk about this rationally. I asked you a question. How long have you been sleeping with my daughter's best friend? They looked at each other. In that single glance, I saw everything I needed to know. This wasn't a one-time mistake. This wasn't cold feet or a moment of weakness. 2 years, Sophia whispered, fresh tears spilling. Since right after they got engaged. The room tilted. 2 years. Preston had proposed to Maureen 3 years ago, which meant for the majority of their engagement, while Maureen was planning a wedding, choosing flowers, tasting cakes, dreaming of her future, Preston had been having an affair with her best friend. 2 years, I repeated, my voice hollow. You've been lying to my daughter for 2 years. It's not that simple. Preston started. It's exactly that simple. I stepped closer to him, and he actually backed up. Good. He should be afraid. You proposed to her knowing you were sleeping with someone else. You planned a wedding while maintaining a relationship with her best friend. You looked me in the eye and promised to make her happy while you were systematically destroying her. I do love Maureen. Don't you dare say that word. I was shouting now. You don't know what love is. Love doesn't betray. Love doesn't lie. Love doesn't sleep with someone's best friend while planning to marry them. Sophia sobbed harder. ZAHA, please, I never wanted to hurt Maureen. I love her. She's my best friend. Best friends don't do this. Whatever you are, you're not her friend. You're a traitor. We tried to stop, Sophia said desperately. So many times. But Preston and I, we couldn't stay away from each other. Then you should have told Maureen. I looked between them. 2 years ago, when this started, you should have told her the truth. Given her the choice. Instead, you let her plan a wedding, spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, invite 300 people, all while living a lie. Preston's face hardened. The charm fell away, revealing something cold and calculating underneath. You're right. We should have told her. But we didn't. And now here we are, 6 hours before a wedding, with 300 guests already arriving, with the press outside the Ritz waiting for photos. So the question isn't what we should have done. The question is what happens now. What happens now as you leave? You get out of Boston. You call Maureen and tell her the wedding is off. And tell her why? Preston laughed bitterly. Tell her that her father found me in bed with her best friend on our wedding morning? That'll destroy her, ZAHA. Is that what you want? I want her to know the truth. The truth will humiliate her. In front of everyone she knows. Every business colleague, every family member, every friend. The press will have a field day. Bride jilted on wedding day. Groom caught with maid of honor. Is that the headline you want for your daughter? He was manipulating me. I knew he was manipulating me. But God help me, he was right. If this got out, when this got out, Maureen would be devastated by the public humiliation as much as the betrayal itself. She deserves to know, I said, but my voice was weaker now. Maybe, Preston said, pulling on his shirt, regaining his composure. But does she deserve to know today? In front of 300 people? With photographers waiting outside? Or would it be kinder to wait, to tell her privately, to spare her the public spectacle? You don't get to talk about kindness. Not after this. I'm not talking about what I deserve. I'm talking about what Maureen deserves. And she deserves better than being humiliated in front of everyone who matters to her. Sophia stood up, wrapped in a sheet. ZAHA, please. Preston's right. If you cancel the wedding now, everyone will want to know why. The story will leak. Maureen will be the subject of gossip for months. Is that what you want for her? What I want is for her not to marry a man who's been cheating on her for 2 years. Then convince her to call it off herself, Preston said smoothly. Tell her you have concerns. Tell her to postpone. But don't tell her about this. Not yet. Not today. I stared at him. This man I'd welcomed into my family. This man I'd trusted with my daughter's happiness. You're trying to buy time. You think if I don't tell her today, you can convince her to forgive you. Manipulate her into going through with the wedding anyway. I think, Preston said carefully, that Maureen is a smart, capable woman who deserves to make her own choices with a clear head. Not in a panic 6 hours before her wedding. What would you do in this moment? Tell the truth and risk public humiliation, or wait and risk losing the chance? Drop a comment below, because my next decision changed everything. Get out, I said to Sophia. Get dressed, and get out of this room. If I see you anywhere near the Ritz-Carlton, anywhere near my daughter, I will have security remove you. Do you understand? Sophia nodded, grabbed her clothes from the floor, and ran into the bathroom. I heard the door lock, heard her sobbing on the other side. Preston watched her go, then turned back to me. So what's your plan, ZAHA? Show Maureen the video? Watch her fall apart? Cancel the wedding and deal with the fallout? My plan is to protect my daughter. Whatever that takes. Even if protecting her means keeping this secret, even if it means letting her marry me. She's not marrying you. Not today. Not ever. That's her choice to make, not yours. She can't make an informed choice without all the information. And you'll give her that information. Just not today. Not in front of 300 people. Preston stepped closer. Look, I know you hate me right now. I know you want to destroy me. But think about Maureen. Really think about her. Is she strong enough to handle this kind of public humiliation? Or will it break her? I thought about my daughter. About how proud she was. How much she valued her reputation in Boston's legal community. About how she'd planned every detail of this wedding. Sent out invitations months ago. Talked about it constantly with excitement and joy. About how devastated she'd be when 300 people learned her fiancé had been cheating with her best friend. I need to think, I said. You have 6 hours, Preston said. 6 hours to decide whether to tell her now or wait. Whether to humiliate her publicly or protect her dignity. Choose wisely, ZAHA. Because either way, this ends badly for someone. I turned and walked out, still recording on Thomas's phone. Got the footage of Preston scrambling for his clothes. Of Sophia crying in the bathroom. Of the seedy motel room that would haunt my nightmares. Thomas was waiting by the car. He took one look at my face and nodded grimly. You saw? I saw. I climbed into the back seat this time. Couldn't stomach sitting in the trunk again. Take me back to the Ritz. I need to think. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. We drove in silence. My mind raced through options, through scenarios, through consequences. If I told Maureen now, she'd be devastated. The wedding would be canceled. 300 guests would gossip. The press would have their story. Maureen would be humiliated. But if I didn't tell her, if I let the wedding proceed, I'd be complicit in the lie. I'd be allowing my daughter to marry a man who'd been betraying her for 2 years. And when she eventually found out, and she would find out, she'd never forgive me for keeping the secret. Damned if I did, damned if I didn't. Mr. Mansour? Thomas glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Can I tell you something? What? My daughter, the one I mentioned before, she married a cheater. Found out 5 years into the marriage, after 2 kids. He'd been having affairs the whole time. When she asked me why I never said anything, why I never warned her, I told her I didn't know. But that was a lie. I looked up. You knew? I suspected. Saw things that didn't add up. But I never said anything because I thought it wasn't my place. Thought she'd figure it out on her own. Thought maybe I was wrong. He pulled up to a red light, turned to face me. I wasn't wrong. And my silence cost my daughter 5 years of her life and a custody battle that nearly destroyed her. So you're saying I should tell Maureen? I'm saying you already know what you need to do. You're just afraid of the consequences. The light turned green. He drove forward. But here's the thing about consequences, sir. They happen either way. The only question is whether you face them now or later. And in my experience, later is always worse. We pulled up to the Ritz-Carlton. Valets rushed to open the door. Guests were streaming in now, dressed in their finest, clutching wrapped gifts, ready to celebrate. Thank you, Thomas, I said, for showing me, for having the courage to put me in that trunk. I just hope I did the right thing. You did. Whatever happens next, you did the right thing. I walked through the ornate lobby, past the wedding coordinator frantically checking her clipboard, past early arriving guests taking selfies. I took the elevator to the 5th floor where the bridal suite was located. Outside the door, I could hear laughter. Female voices, champagne glasses clinking, upbeat music playing. Maureen's bridesmaids were already there, helping her get ready for the happiest day of her life. A day that was about to become the worst day of her life. I pulled out my phone, looked at the video Thomas had recorded, watched 30 seconds of Preston and Sophia in bed together, heard their conversation, saw the evidence of their betrayal. Then I knocked on the door. It opened to reveal Maureen, still in her robe, hair in curlers, face glowing with joy and excitement. Daddy, she threw her arms around me. You're early. I'm not even dressed yet. You can't see me before the ceremony. It's bad luck. Maureen, I said quietly. I need to talk to you. Alone. Right now. Something in my voice made her step back. The joy drained from her face, replaced by concern. What's wrong? Dad, you're scaring me. Is someone hurt? No one's hurt. But we need to talk. Privately. It's important. She studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. Okay. Girls, give us a minute. The bridesmaids filed out, casting curious glances at me. When the door closed, Maureen turned to me with fear in her eyes. Dad, what is it? What's happened? I pulled out the phone. I need you to watch something. And Maureen, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I pressed play and watched my daughter's world fall apart. Maureen watched the video in complete silence. I saw her eyes widen as she recognized Preston. Saw her hand fly to her mouth when she realized the woman was Sophia. Saw tears begin to stream down her face as the conversation played, as they admitted 2 years, as the full scope of the betrayal became clear. When the video ended, she just stood there, frozen, staring at the blank screen. Maureen, play it again. Sweetheart, you don't need to. Play it again. I played it again. And again. 3 times she made me play it, as if repetition would somehow change what it showed, would somehow make it less real. Finally, on the 4th viewing, she held up her hand. Stop. I can't watch anymore. She walked to the window, wrapped her arms around herself. Her whole body was shaking. This isn't real. It can't be real. Preston loves me. Sophia's my best friend. This is some kind of trick, some kind of... It's real, Maureen. Thomas saw them 3 days ago, at the same motel. He's been driving Preston around for wedding errands. That's how he knew. Thomas. She laughed bitterly. Your driver knows my fiancé is cheating before I do. That's perfect. That's just perfect. I'm so sorry, baby. I wish I didn't have to show you this. Especially today. She whirled around, and I saw something break in her eyes. Today? Oh God. The wedding. The guests. Everyone's already arriving. 300 people. The press is outside. I have to. She looked around wildly, as if searching for an escape. I have to get dressed. Have to do my makeup. Have to. Maureen, we're canceling the wedding. No. The word came out as a shriek. No, we can't cancel. Do you know what that would mean? The scandal? Everyone asking why. The gossip? I know. But you can't marry him after this. Can't I? She was pacing now, hands in her hair. Maybe it was just cold feet. One last mistake before committing. Maybe if I confront him, if we talk about it, we can work through it. Maureen, it's been 2 years. 2 years of lying to you. That's not cold feet. That's a pattern. You don't understand. She was crying harder now, mascara running even though she hadn't put on makeup yet. I've told everyone how perfect we are. How happy I am. My colleagues at the firm, my clients, everyone in our social circle. If I cancel this wedding, I'll be the woman who got dumped on her wedding day. I'll be a joke. A cautionary tale. Better a cautionary tale than trapped in a marriage with a cheater. Is it really better? She grabbed her phone. I need to talk to him. I need to hear his side of this. His side? You saw the video. Maybe there's an explanation. Maybe Sophia seduced him. Maybe it was revenge for something. Maybe. Maureen, stop. Listen to yourself. You're making excuses for him. Because I have to. Her voice cracked completely. Because if I don't, then I have to admit that I was stupid. That I didn't see what was happening under my nose. That my best friend and my fiancé were laughing at me behind my back for 2 years. That I'm so unlovable that the man who proposed to me needed someone else to. Don't you dare finish that sentence. I grabbed her shoulders. This is not about you being unlovable. This is about Preston being a liar and Sophia being a traitor. Their choices say nothing about your worth. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. What do I do, Dad? Tell me what to do. Everyone's here. The flowers are set up. The cake is in the kitchen. My dress is hanging right there. How do I just cancel? One step at a time. First, we tell the coordinator. Then we tell the guests. We'll make it simple. The wedding is postponed due to personal reasons. We don't have to give details. Everyone will want to know why. Let them wonder. Your truth is yours to share or not share. She pulled back, wiping her eyes. Where is he? Preston? Is he still at that motel? I don't know. I told him to leave Boston, but... Her phone rang. We both looked at it. Preston's name on the screen. Don't answer it, I said. But she was already picking up. Preston. I could hear his voice through the phone, smooth and apologetic. Maureen, baby, I'm so sorry. I know your father found us. I know he showed you the video. But please, let me explain. Explain what? That you've been sleeping with my best friend for 2 years. It's not what you think. Sophia pursued me. She was obsessed. I tried to push her away, but she threatened to tell you lies about me if I didn't. Stop. Maureen's voice was ice. Just stop. I saw the video, Preston. I heard what you said. You admitted it was 2 years. Silence. Then, okay. Yes. It's been 2 years. But Maureen, I love you. I want to marry you. Sophia was just a mistake. A terrible mistake that I regret deeply. But it doesn't change how I feel about you. How can you say you love me when you've been lying to me for 2 years? Because I do love you. More than I've ever loved anyone. Sophia was just sex. You're my partner, my future, the mother of my future children. Please, don't throw away what we have because of one mistake. One mistake that lasted 2 years. It wasn't constant. It was on and off. Sometimes months would go by. Oh well, that makes it so much better. Have you ever listened to someone you loved try to justify the unjustifiable? Drop a comment below, because what Preston said next made my blood boil. Maureen, think about this rationally. Preston continued, his voice taking on a harder edge. The wedding is in 5 hours. 300 guests are already there. The press is waiting. If you cancel now, it will destroy your reputation. People will talk. Your clients will question your judgment. Your colleagues will gossip. Is that what you want? I want my fiancé not to be a cheating liar. I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But we can work through this. Couples therapy, counseling, whatever you need. But please, don't make a decision you'll regret based on emotion. Think about your career, your reputation, your future. I grabbed the phone from Maureen. She's not marrying you, Preston. Accept it and move on. Ah, ZAHA. I should have known you'd poison her against me. Did you tell her how you've never approved of me? How you've always thought I wasn't good enough? I thought you were exactly good enough. Until I saw you in bed with her best friend. That video was taken without my consent. I could sue you for that. Go ahead. I'm sure the judge will be very sympathetic to the man caught cheating on his wedding day. Maureen. Preston's voice turned desperate. Please, baby, don't let your father make this decision for you. This is about us. Our future. Our love. Don't let him destroy what we have. Maureen took the phone back. Her hands were shaking. Preston, I need time to think. I can't make a decision right now. There is no time. The wedding is in 5 hours. Then maybe we should postpone. Postpone. For how long? A week? A month? While everyone speculates about why. While our names are dragged through the mud. His voice turned cold. Or maybe you're planning to cancel altogether. Leave me standing at the altar. Humiliate me in front of everyone. Humiliate you. Yes, me. I made a mistake, Maureen. A stupid, regrettable mistake. But I'm willing to work through it. I'm willing to marry you anyway, despite your father's interference, despite this drama. The question is whether you're willing to be mature about this or whether you're going to throw a tantrum and ruin both our reputations. The manipulation was breathtaking. I watched Maureen's face, saw her actually considering his words, saw doubt creeping in. Don't listen to him, I said quietly. He's gaslighting you, making you doubt yourself. But Preston was still talking. Think about it, Maureen. Everyone you know is here. Your law partners, your clients, judges you've worked with. If you cancel this wedding, they'll all want to know why. And when the truth comes out, and it will come out, they'll judge you. They'll wonder why you weren't enough. Why I needed someone else. That's not fair. Fair or not, it's reality. But if we go through with the wedding, if we present a united front, no one has to know. We can work through our problems privately. Save face publicly. Isn't that better? Maureen looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Dad, what do I do? Before I could answer, there was a knock on the door. One of the bridesmaids, a woman named Ashley, stuck her head in. Maureen, sorry to interrupt, but the wedding coordinator needs to know if you're ready to start getting dressed. Hair and makeup are here, and we're already running 15 minutes behind schedule. Maureen stared at Ashley, then at me, then at the phone in her hand. The weight of the decision crushing her. Tell them I need 30 more minutes, Maureen said. Ashley nodded and left. Preston's voice came through the phone. Maureen, I'm at the Ritz. I'm in my suite. Come see me. Let's talk face to face. Please. Give me a chance to explain, to apologize properly. I'm begging you. Maureen looked at me. Should I? Absolutely not. He'll manipulate you. He'll make promises he won't keep. Or maybe he deserves a chance to explain. Maybe there's more to this story. The story is on that video. He cheated on you for 2 years with your best friend. I know, but maybe, she paused. Maybe I need to hear him say it to my face. Look him in the eyes. See if there's any remorse there. Maureen, I'm going to talk to him. Not because I'm considering going through with the wedding. Just because I need closure. I need to understand why. She stood up, grabbing a cardigan to throw over her robe. Come with me, please. I don't want to see him alone. We left the bridal suite and took the elevator to the 10th floor where the groom's suite was located. My heart pounded. This was a mistake. Preston would say all the right things, make all the right promises. He was good at this, at lying, at manipulating, at making people believe what he wanted them to believe. We reached his door. Maureen knocked. Come in, Preston's voice called. She opened the door, and we walked into a nightmare worse than anything I'd imagined. Preston wasn't alone. Sophia was there, sitting on the couch, still crying. And standing by the window were 2 people I didn't recognize, a man and a woman in business suits. Maureen, Preston said, standing up. Thank you for coming. These are my lawyers, Richard Chun and Patricia Morrison. I've asked them here because we need to discuss something important. Lawyers. Maureen looked confused. Why do you need lawyers? Preston's face was cold now, all pretense of love gone. Because I'm giving you a choice, Maureen. Either you go through with this wedding as planned, or I sue you for breach of promise and emotional distress. The room went silent. You're going to sue me? Maureen's voice was barely a whisper. You're the one who wanted a wedding contract, Preston said calmly. Remember? You insisted on the prenup, the detailed wedding contract with the vendors, all of it. Well, according to that contract, if you cancel this wedding without just cause, you're liable for all expenses. That's $300,000, plus emotional damages. My lawyers estimate we could get another $500,000 for the public humiliation, the damage to my reputation, the professional consequences. Just cause. I stepped forward. You've been cheating on her for 2 years. That's just cause. Prove it in court, Richard Chun said smoothly. That video was obtained illegally. It won't be admissible. And without it, it's Mr. Blake's word against Mr. Mansour's. A bitter father-in-law who never approved of the relationship versus a respected businessman. Who do you think a jury will believe? I looked at Maureen. She'd gone pale, swaying on her feet. Preston, you can't be serious. You're threatening to sue me? On our wedding day? I'm protecting myself, Preston said. If you want to call off this wedding, fine. But you'll pay for it. Literally. Sophia stood up. Maureen, please. Just go through with it. Marry him. We can all move past this. We. Maureen's voice was shrill. What do you mean we? Sophia and Preston exchanged a glance. And in that moment, I saw the truth. Oh my God, Maureen whispered. You're planning to continue the affair after the wedding, aren't you? This was never about choosing between us. You want both of us. Preston shrugged. I'm a wealthy man, Maureen. Wealthy men have been keeping mistresses since the dawn of time. You'll be my wife. You'll have the ring, the status, the lifestyle. Sophia will be my companion. Everyone gets what they want. Everyone except me. You get to be Mrs. Preston Blake. You get to avoid public humiliation. You get to save your reputation. He stepped closer. Or you can refuse, and I'll destroy you in court. Drag your name through the mud. Make sure everyone knows you were so undesirable that your husband-to-be needed a mistress just to tolerate you. I moved between them. You lay one finger on her. You say one more word, and You'll what? Preston smiled. Hit me? That would be assault. My lawyers would love that. Maureen grabbed my arm. Dad, I need to leave. I need to get out of here. Now. We turned toward the door. You have until 2 p.m. to decide. Preston called after us. Walk down that aisle or face the consequences. Your choice, Maureen. We stepped into the hallway. The door closed behind us, and Maureen collapsed against the wall, hyperventilating. I can't breathe, she gasped. Dad, I can't breathe. He's going to sue me. He's going to ruin me. My career, my reputation, everything. Breathe, sweetheart. Just breathe. What do I do? If I marry him, I'm trapped with a man who'll keep cheating. If I don't, he'll destroy me financially and professionally. There's no way out. No good choice. I held her, feeling her shake against me, and realized Preston had us exactly where he wanted us. Trapped. Will Maureen choose humiliation or a lifetime of betrayal? Comment below with what you would do. because the next 3 hours will determine everything. We made it back to the bridal suite before Maureen completely fell apart. She collapsed on the couch, sobbing so hard she could barely catch her breath. The bridesmaids rushed in, alarmed, asking what was wrong. "Everyone out," I said firmly. "Give us the room. Now." They hesitated, looking at Maureen for confirmation. She just nodded, unable to speak. They filed out quietly, Ashley casting one last worried glance before closing the door. "He's got me trapped, Dad." Maureen's voice was raw. "If I marry him, I'm signing up for a lifetime of humiliation and betrayal. If I don't, he'll sue me for everything. My savings, my reputation, my career, gone. Either way, I lose. We'll fight the lawsuit. We'll get our own lawyers." "With what evidence?" "You heard his lawyer. That video is inadmissible. It'll be my word against Preston's. And he's right. He's a respected businessman with no public scandals. I'm the jilted bride who couldn't keep her man. Who do you think people will believe?" I wanted to argue, but she was right. Preston had planned this perfectly. He'd positioned himself as the victim while holding all the cards. "There has to be another way," I said. "There isn't. Don't you see? He's thought of everything. He probably planned this from the beginning. The detailed wedding contract, the prenup terms, all of it. He set me up." I paced the room, my mind racing. There had to be something we could do, some angle Preston hadn't considered. Then it hit me. "The prenup," I said. "You said you insisted on one. What were the terms?" "Standard stuff. Assets remain separate. No alimony unless the marriage lasts more than 10 years. Fidelity clause." She stopped. "Wait. The fidelity clause?" "Exactly. If either party commits adultery, they forfeit their right to any marital assets, and the wrong party can terminate the marriage without penalty. But we're not married yet. The prenup doesn't take effect until after the ceremony. Right? But the wedding contract is different. Pull it out. Let me see it." Maureen went to her bag and extracted a thick folder of documents. She found the wedding contract, a detailed agreement with the Ritz-Carlton and all the vendors that outlined payment terms, cancellation policies, and liability clauses. I read through it carefully. Most of it was standard, deposits non-refundable, full payment due upon completion of services. But there, on page 7, was a clause I'd insisted on when we'd signed the contract 6 months ago. Section 7.3, I read aloud. "In the event of cancellation due to fraud, misrepresentation, or illegal activity by either party, all deposits shall be refunded and no penalties shall apply." Maureen looked up. "Fraud or misrepresentation? Preston lied to you for 2 years. He entered into this wedding contract under false pretenses, claiming to be faithful when he was actively cheating. That's textbook misrepresentation. But his lawyers said the video isn't admissible. In a criminal trial, maybe. But this isn't criminal. This is contract law. And in contract disputes, the rules of evidence are different. More flexible." I pulled out my phone. "I'm calling Daniel Morse. He's not just my business lawyer. He's one of the best contract attorneys in Massachusetts." I dialed. Daniel answered on the second ring. "ZAHA, aren't you supposed to be at a wedding? I need your help. Now, can you get to the Ritz-Carlton in the next 30 minutes? "What's going on?" I explained everything. The video, Preston's ultimatum, the lawsuit threat. Daniel listened in silence. "Bastard," he said when I finished. "Okay, I'm 20 minutes away. Don't let Maureen make any decisions until I get there. And ZAHA, get me a copy of that wedding contract. I need to review every word." He hung up. I looked at Maureen. "We're going to fight this. We're going to find a way out. Dad, even if Daniel can get us out of the financial liability, what about my reputation? The scandal? Everyone knowing I was cheated on. Would you rather everyone know you were cheated on, or everyone know you knowingly married a cheater? Because that's the real choice here." She was quiet for a long moment. "You're right. I know you're right. But it's still terrifying." There was a knock on the door. I opened it to find Thomas standing there, looking grim. "Mr. Mansour, I thought you should know. Mr. Blake just left the hotel with Miss Chin. They got into a car together. My contact in valet said they were laughing. While Maureen was in here falling apart, Preston and Sophia were laughing. Did they say where they were going?" "The driver said they requested directions to Fenway Park." "Fenway Park." There was nothing at Fenway Park except the sports bar, Maureen said quietly. Preston's favorite. He and his groomsmen were supposed to meet there for pre-wedding drinks. She looked at me. "He's celebrating, Dad." He thinks he's won. Then let's prove him wrong. Daniel arrived 15 minutes later with a briefcase and a determined expression. He reviewed the wedding contract, the prenup, and watched the video 3 times. Okay, he said finally. Here's what we're dealing with. The video is problematic, obtained without consent, recorded in a private space. But it's not completely inadmissible. Under Massachusetts law, there's a public interest exception for evidence of fraud or imminent harm. Can we use it? Maureen asked. In a contract dispute? Yes. In a criminal trial? No. But Preston's threatening a civil suit for breach of contract. In that context, this video is gold. It proves he entered into the wedding agreement under false pretenses. So we can fight his lawsuit. Better, we can countersue him for fraud, emotional distress, and breach of the prenuptial agreement's fidelity clause. But we're not married yet. The prenup isn't active. Daniel smiled grimly. The prenup isn't active, but the wedding contract is. And Preston signed that contract representing himself as a faithful partner entering into marriage in good faith. The video proves that was a lie. We can argue he committed fraud in the inducement, that you only agreed to marry him based on his false representation of fidelity. Will it work? I've won cases on thinner evidence. But there's a simpler solution. He looked at Maureen. Call his bluff. Tell him you're canceling the wedding and you'll see him in court. I guarantee his lawyers have already told him this lawsuit is risky. The publicity alone would damage his reputation. Billionaire sues bride after cheating scandal isn't a great headline for the Blake Hotel empire. But what if he actually goes through with it? Maureen's voice shook. Then we destroy him. We release the video publicly. We call Sophia as a witness. She'll cave under pressure, I guarantee it. We subpoena Preston's phone records, credit card statements, hotel receipts. We prove this affair was extensive, premeditated, and ongoing. And we make sure every newspaper in Boston knows that Preston Blake is a liar who threatened his own fiancée with a lawsuit after being caught cheating. I watched understanding dawn on Maureen's face. The publicity would hurt him more than me. Exactly. You're the victim. He's the villain. The court of public opinion would crucify him. Maureen stood up, something shifting in her expression. The fear was still there, but underneath it I saw something else. Anger. Determination. Strength. I'm calling off the wedding, she said. Are you sure? I asked. I'm sure. I'd rather face public humiliation than spend my life with a man who thinks so little of me. She looked at Daniel. You'll represent me? If Preston sues? I'll represent you pro bono. It would be my pleasure to take him down. Then let's do this. Maureen walked to her wedding dress hanging on the door. For a moment, I thought she might cry again. Instead, she took it off the hanger and laid it carefully on the bed. This dress cost $25,000. Custom Vera Wong. I was supposed to feel like a princess in it. You still can, I said. Wear it anyway. You look beautiful. No. She shook her head. I'm not giving Preston the satisfaction of seeing me in this dress. I'm not giving him anything ever again. She went to the closet and pulled out a simple black dress, the one she'd worn to the rehearsal dinner. Professional, elegant, strong. I'm going downstairs. I'm going to make an announcement to the guests. Tell them the truth. All of it. Maureen, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I'm not hiding. I'm not protecting Preston's reputation at the expense of mine. I'm going to stand in front of 300 people and tell them exactly why there's no wedding today. She started getting dressed. The bridesmaids came back in, confused and worried. Maureen explained everything. The affair, the lawsuit threat, her decision to cancel. One by one, they hugged her. Told her she was brave. Told her she deserved better. Ashley looked at her phone. It's 1:30. The ceremony was supposed to start in 30 minutes. Then we better hurry. Maureen finished her makeup. Subtle, professional, nothing like the bridal makeup she'd planned. Dad, will you come with me? I need you there. Always. We walked down to the grand ballroom together. Daniel stayed behind to start preparing legal documents. Thomas met us at the entrance. The guests are all seated, Miss Maureen. The string quartet is playing. They're waiting for you. Then let's not keep them waiting. We walked into the ballroom. 300 faces turned toward us. I saw confusion. Where was the wedding dress? Where was the bridal party? Why was Maureen in black? The string quartet stopped playing. The wedding coordinator rushed over, panicked. Miss Mansour, we're already running late. If you need more time to get dressed. I'm not getting dressed. There's not going to be a wedding. Maureen's voice carried across the silent ballroom. but I'd like to say something to everyone who came here today. She walked to the front of the room where the altar stood, covered in white roses. I followed her. She turned to face the crowd. Thank you all for being here, she began, her voice steady. I know you came to witness a wedding. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. An hour ago, I learned that my fiancé, Preston Blake, has been having an affair with my maid of honor, Sophia Chun, for the past 2 years. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Whispers started immediately. What would you say in front of 300 people after discovering the person you loved betrayed you? Drop a comment below, because Maureen's next words changed everything. I have video evidence of this affair, Maureen continued, her voice growing stronger. Evidence that Preston has threatened to sue me over if I refuse to go through with this wedding. He's given me an ultimatum. Marry him anyway, and let him continue the affair, or face a lawsuit for breach of contract and emotional damages. More gasps. I saw Preston's business partners shifting uncomfortably. Saw judges Maureen had worked with exchanging shocked glances. I'm choosing option 3, Maureen said. I'm canceling this wedding. I'm refusing to marry a man who has lied to me, betrayed me, and threatened me. And if Preston Blake wants to sue me, let him. I'll see him in court, where the truth will come out. All of it. She looked directly at the section where Preston's family was sitting. His mother looked pale. His father looked furious. To the Blake family, I'm sorry your son put us all in this position, but I will not be threatened into a marriage. I will not be manipulated, and I will not spend my life with someone who sees me as a business transaction rather than a partner. She turned to the general crowd. To everyone else, thank you for coming. Thank you for your support. And please, don't pity me. Yes, I was betrayed. Yes, my wedding was canceled. But I'm standing here, free and honest, rather than sitting in a marriage built on lies. That's not a tragedy. That's a victory. The ballroom was dead silent. Then, from the back, someone started clapping. Slowly at first, then louder. Others joined in. Within seconds, the entire ballroom was applauding. Maureen smiled through her tears. Thank you. For those who want to stay, the hotel has prepared food and drinks. Consider it a celebration of truth, freedom, and new beginnings. For those who want to leave, I understand. Either way, thank you for being here. She walked down from the altar, head high, and I'd never been more proud of her in my life. As we reached the exit, the ballroom doors burst open. Preston stormed in, Sophia behind him, both looking disheveled and panicked. You can't do this, Preston shouted. You signed a contract. You agreed. I agreed to marry a faithful man, Maureen said calmly. You're not that man. So the contract is void. I'll sue you for everything you have. Go ahead. I'm ready. She pulled out her phone. And when you do, this video will be entered as evidence, along with testimony from your hotel staff, your phone records, and every witness my lawyer finds. How do you think that will look in the press, Preston? Billionaire playboy sues bride after cheating scandal? Preston's face went white. He looked around the ballroom at 300 witnesses, at his business partners recording on their phones, at the reporters who'd somehow snuck in. This was going to be all over the news by tonight. You've ruined me, he said quietly. No, Maureen replied. You ruined yourself. I just had the courage to tell the truth. She walked past him, past Sophia who was crying, past everyone, out into the hotel lobby where sunshine poured through the windows. And for the first time in hours, she smiled. The media frenzy started within an hour. By 3 p.m., while guests were still at the Ritz eating the wedding food and drinking the champagne meant for toasts, the story had already hit social media. Someone had live-streamed Maureen's speech. Within 2 hours, it had been viewed 500,000 times. The headlines were everything Preston had feared. Billionaire heir caught in wedding day cheating scandal. Brave bride calls off wedding. Exposes groom's 2-year affair. Preston Blake's wedding day ultimatum backfires spectacularly. We watched it unfold from the bridal suite, which had become our war room. Daniel had his laptop out, monitoring the news coverage and the social media response. Thomas kept bringing updates from the hotel staff about Preston's movements. He'd left the Ritz within 30 minutes of Maureen's speech, Sophia with him. Look at this, Daniel said, turning his laptop toward us. Preston's company stock dropped 3% in the last hour. The Blake Hotel board is already distancing themselves. His father just released a statement saying Preston's personal matters do not reflect the values of Blake Hotels. Maureen sat on the couch, still in her black dress, scrolling through her phone. I have 200 missed calls, 50 from reporters, the rest from everyone. Friends, colleagues, people I haven't talked to in years. You don't have to respond to any of them, I said. I know, but some of them are nice. Supporting me, saying I did the right thing. She showed me her screen. Messages from law school classmates, from colleagues at Morrison & Associates, even from opposing counsel she'd faced in court. All of them offering support, sharing their own stories of betrayal and escape. You're not alone in this, I said. I'm starting to see that. She set down her phone. Dad, can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you put me in that trunk? I mean, you could have just told me what you'd found. Showed me the video without the whole dramatic kidnapping scene. I thought about that. Because if I'd just told you, you might have doubted it. Might have thought I was exaggerating, or that I'd misunderstood what I'd seen. But by taking you to see it yourself, by making you witness it, I couldn't deny it, she finished. Couldn't make excuses or rationalize it away. Exactly. Sometimes the truth needs to be undeniable. She smiled sadly. Well, it worked. That image of Preston and Sophia in that motel room is burned into my brain forever, along with their laughter in the parking lot, and Preston's face when he threatened to sue me. She paused. But you know what else is burned into my brain? What? You. Standing there with that phone, recording evidence even though you were heartbroken for me. Thomas, putting his job on the line to show you the truth. Daniel, dropping everything on a Saturday to come defend me. Her eyes filled with tears. All the people who actually love me. That's what I'll remember most about today. Not the betrayal. The love. There was a knock on the door. Thomas poked his head in. Miss Maureen, there's someone here to see you. Says it's important. Who? Sophia Chun. Maureen's face hardened. Tell her to leave. She says she has something you need to hear. About Preston's plans. Maureen looked at me. I shrugged. It's your choice. She thought for a moment, then nodded. Fine. But she has 5 minutes. And you're all staying in the room with me. Thomas brought Sophia in. She looked terrible. Mascara smeared, hair disheveled, eyes swollen from crying. She stood in the doorway like she was afraid to come further in. What do you want? Maureen's voice was ice. I came to warn you, Sophia said quietly. Preston is planning something. I heard him on the phone with his lawyers. He's not going to sue you for breach of contract. He's going to sue you for defamation. Defamation? For telling the truth. He's claiming the video is fake. That you and your father doctored it to frame him. He's going to say you made up the affair to get out of the wedding without penalty. Daniel stood up. He can't prove that. The video has metadata, timestamps, location data. We have witnesses. Thomas saw them at the motel. The hotel clerk can testify. He's already paid off the hotel clerk, Sophia interrupted. $5,000 to say he never saw Preston that day. And he's got an alibi witness. His assistant Rachel will testify he was in a business meeting during the time shown on the video. Why are you telling us this? I asked. Sophia finally looked at Maureen, tears streaming down her face. Because I'm done being his accomplice. I'm done lying and hiding and pretending. Maureen, I'm so sorry. For everything. For the affair, for the betrayal, for being so weak that I let him manipulate me into hurting you. You expect me to believe that? That you were manipulated? You had a choice, Sophia. You made it. You're right. I did. And I'm not asking for forgiveness. I wanted to help you one last time. Before I leave Boston forever. You're leaving? What else can I do? Everyone knows who I am now. What I did. I can't show my face anywhere in this city. I'm going back to San Francisco. Starting over. She pulled an envelope from her purse. This is a signed affidavit. Detailing the affair, Preston's plans, his attempts to bribe witnesses. Everything. Use it however you need to. She set the envelope on the table and turned to leave. Sophia, Maureen called. She stopped. Why did you do it? We were friends. Best friends. You were supposed to be my maid of honor. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. Because I was jealous. You had everything. The career, the perfect fiancé, the amazing father, the life I wanted. And Preston made me feel like I could have a piece of that. But the truth is, I never had any of it. I just had a man who was using me the same way he was using you. Did you love him? I thought I did. But Preston Blake doesn't inspire love. He inspires obsession, competition, the need to win him, to keep him, to be chosen by him. That's not love. That's sickness. She walked out without looking back. Have you ever seen someone realize their own complicity too late? Drop a comment below, because redemption doesn't always look the way we expect. Daniel picked up the affidavit and read through it quickly. This is good. Really good. Detailed, specific, damning. With this, we can preempt his defamation lawsuit. File our own suit first. Fraud, emotional distress, intentional infliction of harm. Do it, Maureen said. I want him to understand that threatening me was the worst mistake he ever made. Over the next few days, the story continued to evolve. Preston's defamation lawsuit never materialized. His lawyers apparently advised him that Sophia's affidavit would destroy his case. Instead, he released a public statement apologizing for his personal failings and announcing he was stepping back from his role at Blake Hotels to focus on personal growth. Translation: his family forced him out to save the company's reputation. The wedding expenses became a negotiation. The Ritz-Carlton, sensing a PR opportunity, offered to refund half the costs in exchange for Maureen making a statement about how professionally they'd handled the situation. The florist, the caterer, even the orchestra agreed to partial refunds. In the end, instead of losing $300,000, we recovered about $175,000. Maureen threw herself into work. Her law firm, instead of being embarrassed by the scandal, saw an uptick in clients. Women who'd seen her stand up to Preston wanted lawyers with that kind of courage. Within 3 months, she'd taken on so many new cases that she had to hire an associate to help. 6 months after the non-wedding, we had dinner at my house. Maureen looked healthier, happier, more herself than she'd been in years. I got an interesting call today, she said over dessert. Oh, from a reporter at the Boston Globe. They're doing a feature on women who've left abusive relationships. They want to interview me. Are you going to do it? I think so. Dr. Chun, my therapist, says talking about it publicly could be healing. And maybe it'll help other women who are in similar situations. Your mother would be proud of you, I said, for turning your pain into something that helps others. I hope so. She paused. I've been thinking a lot about Mom lately. About what she would have said if she'd been here that day. What do you think she would have said? I think she would have said, sometimes the best gift is the wedding that doesn't happen. Because she always believed that truth was more important than appearances. That integrity mattered more than reputation. She did believe that. It's why I fell in love with her. Maureen smiled. I'm dating someone, by the way. I set down my fork. You are? Nothing serious. Just coffee a few times. His name is Alex. He's a public defender. We met at a legal aid clinic. She held up her hand before I could speak. And yes, I've already told him the whole story. The affair, the canceled wedding, the media circus. He knows everything. And he still asked me out. What did you say? I said yes. But slowly. Very slowly. I'm not rushing into anything ever again. Smart woman. I learned from the best. She reached across the table and took my hand. Thank you, Dad. For that trunk ride. For having the courage to show me the truth, even though you knew it would hurt me. For being willing to risk me hating you to save me from making the biggest mistake of my life. I'd risk anything for you. You know that. I do. And that knowledge is what's helping me trust again. Because I know what real love looks like. It looks like a father who'll throw you in a trunk to protect you. We both laughed. 1 year after the wedding that never happened, I got an invitation in the mail. A simple card, elegant and understated. You are cordially invited to celebrate the marriage of Maureen Mansour and Alexander Chun. Small ceremony, family and close friends only. Garden setting, casual attire, joy required. I called Maureen immediately. Alex Chun, you're engaged. We are. Small ceremony, 20 people, in your backyard if that's okay. Nothing fancy. Just the people who matter most. When? 3 months. And Dad, I already asked Alex if he'd be okay with you vetting him first. Running background checks, interrogating his family, whatever you need to do to feel comfortable. He said absolutely. I already ran the background check, I admitted. The day after you mentioned him. She laughed. Of course you did. Find anything concerning? Clean record. Excellent credit score. His ex-girlfriend gave glowing reviews, said he was kind, honest, terrible at remembering birthdays, but made up for it with genuine care. His colleagues say he's dedicated, principled, cares deeply about justice. So he passes the ZAHA Mansour test. With flying colors. But I'm still interrogating him before the wedding. I wouldn't have it any other way. The wedding was everything the Preston wedding wasn't. Small, intimate, genuine. 20 people in my garden on a perfect September afternoon. Maureen wore a simple white dress, not a designer gown. Alex wore a suit from Men's Warehouse, not custom Armani. They wrote their own vows, promising honesty, respect, and the courage to always tell the truth even when it's hard. During the ceremony, when Alex promised to love Maureen, with transparency and trust, never hiding, never betraying, always choosing her first, I saw tears stream down Maureen's face. These were different tears than a year ago. These were tears of joy, of relief, of a woman who'd been through hell and found her way to something real. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," and Alex kissed Maureen with such tenderness, such obvious love, I felt Rebecca's presence beside me, watching our daughter finally find the happiness she deserved. At the reception, a catered dinner in my backyard, Thomas gave a toast. "A year ago, I did something that could have gotten me fired," he said. "I put my boss in the trunk of his own car and drove him to a seedy motel. All because I couldn't stand to see Miss Maureen marry the wrong man." Everyone laughed. Maureen was crying again. "But here's what I learned that day," Thomas continued. "Real love isn't about comfortable truths. It's about having the courage to deliver uncomfortable ones. It's about risking everything to protect someone, even when they might hate you for it. Mr. Mansford taught me that. And now Miss Maureen has found someone who understands it too." He raised his glass. "To marriages built on truth. To fathers who love their daughters enough to throw them in trunks. And to new beginnings that come from old endings." "To new beginnings," everyone echoed. Later, as the party wound down, Maureen and Alex found me on the terrace. "Dad," Maureen said, linking her arm through mine. "Thank you. For everything. For the trunk. For the truth. For showing me what real love looks like so I could recognize it when I found it. Thank you for being brave enough to listen," I said. "And for having the courage to walk away when it mattered most." Alex extended his hand. "Mr. Mansour, I promise you I will never give you reason to put me in a trunk." "Good. Because next time, I'm not using a Mercedes. I'm using a Honda. Much less comfortable." We all laughed. As I watched them walk back to their guests, hand in hand, genuinely happy, I thought about that morning a year ago. About Thomas's panicked face. About the seedy motel. About the video that changed everything. About the choice to show Maureen the truth, even though it would hurt her. It had been the hardest decision of my life. But watching her now, free and whole and loved by someone who deserved her, I knew it had been the right one. My name is ZAHA. I'm 68 years old. 1 year ago, my family driver shoved me into the trunk of my Mercedes on my daughter's wedding morning, saying, "Trust me, there's something you need to see." That trunk ride saved my daughter's life. Not literally, but in every way that matters. It saved her from a marriage built on lies. It showed her what betrayal looked like so she could recognize real love when she found it. It taught her that truth, no matter how painful, is always better than comfortable deception. Thomas still drives for me. Every time we pass a motel, any motel, we exchange a look and smile. We don't talk about that day often, but we don't need to. We both know what we did was right. Maureen and Alex are happy. They just celebrated their first anniversary. She's pregnant, due in the spring. A little boy. They're going to name him Thomas, after the man who had the courage to put me in a trunk. Sometimes the greatest act of love is forcing someone to see what they don't want to see. Sometimes protection means causing temporary pain to prevent permanent damage. Sometimes saving someone means being willing to be the bad guy. That's what the trunk taught me. And I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Metaphorically or literally. Whatever the situation requires. Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.